This is Larry Henares making your day with part 23 of an article I wrote on the great civilizations. Chapter, A Woman of Islam. And we continue to quote. In the theater of Dionysius, the birthplace of Western drama, in the year 411 BC, sat the ancient Greeks happily munching their figs and pomegranates, and was played out before them the comedies of Aristophanes, sex comedies of outrageous and glorious things, just like Lysistrata. And in the play, which we tell the story about, two women speak in the beginning. Lysistrata says, "There are a lot of things about us women that sadden me, considering men see us as rascals." And Calocine agrees, as indeed we are. And these lines, spoken at the beginning of the play, set the scene for the action that follows. Calocine represents the women of the city-states of Sparta and Athens, then engaged in the Peloponnesian War. Lysistrata is an extraordinary woman with a large sense of individual and social responsibility, who convened the women to give them a firm hand and direction. With support from Lampito, the Spartan, Lysistrata persuades other women to withhold sexual privileges from their menfolk as a means of forcing them to end the interminable war. And the women are reluctant, but the deal is sealed with a solemn oath in which the women abjure all their sexual pleasures, including a sexual position known as Lioness on the Cheese Grater. I wonder how that looks. The play is peppered with such hilarious scenes as the struggle of old women and old men for the control of the state treasury at the Acropolis, without which the men cannot fund their war. A magistrate reflecting on the hysterical nature of women, their devotion to wine, promiscuous sex, and exotic cults, and blaming the men for their poor supervision of their women folk, and then demanding silver from the state treasury to buy oars for the fleet. Then there are the groups of unruly women with such unruly names as seed market, porridge, vegetable sellers, and garlic innkeeping, bread sellers. Lysistrata explaining frustrations women feel at a time of war, when the men make stupid decisions that affect everyone, and their wives' opinions are not even listened to, and saying that war will be a woman's business from now on, expressing the pity she feels for the young childless women wasting their childbearing years and aging at home while the men are away on endless campaigns. And then there are the women desperate for sex, beginning to desert on the silliest pretext. For example, one woman says she has to go home to air her fabrics by spreading them on the bed. And Kinesius, the husband of Myrene, who teases him with sex on the spot, exasperating him with delays until finally denying him. And then there's a scene of this Spartan herald with an obvious erection listening to a magistrate, also with an obvious erection. It's hilarious. As peace talks commence, Lysistrata introduces the Spartan and Athenian, like Athenian, delegates to a gorgeous young woman called Reconciliation. The delegates cannot take their eyes off the young woman, And meanwhile, Lysistrata scolds both sides for past errors of judgment. The delegates briefly squabble over the peace terms, but with reconciliation so beautiful before them, and the burden of sexual deprivation still heavy upon them, they quickly overcome their differences and retire to the Acropolis for celebrations. More about this after these messages. This is Larry Henares making your day with part 23 of an article I wrote on Great Civilizations, chapter A Woman of Islam. And we continue to quote. Now this story which I just told you illustrates the grand possibility of women leaders rising in the world to curb the men's propensity for war and mayhem. Perhaps expand the culture of scientific humanism to embrace tolerance, compassion, and goodwill, to promote a synthesis of all faiths as a basis of peace for all time, a family-oriented, mother-directed multiplicity of deities in a common pantheon, perhaps for millenniums ahead, like the ancient civilizations. Now, this is not hard to aspire for, since the God of the three modern religions are one and the same, Yahweh, God the Father, and Allah. Surely the cult of Mary can coexist with the cult of Fatima, Moses with Jesus, and Muhammad. More tomorrow, my dear friends. This is Larry Henares, making your day, saying good day, God bless you. Thank you very much for being with us. Till next time, hasta la bye-bye.